WrestleMania 41 is over and done with, and we have a lot to talk about. This is a reaction video where I'm just going to break down every match, give my thoughts, opinions on what I believe was the most controversial and lackluster WrestleManias in my lifetime. There's a whole lot to cover. We're going to jump into it. Before we do, like, subscribe, turn on those notification bells when videos like this and other daily wrestling content come out. You can watch those videos as soon as they drop. I want to jump into this and vent a little bit because there are some things that we need to get off our chest. And you know what? I was going to go in order, but fuck that. We are starting with John Cena winning his 17th championship against Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania with the help of Travis Scott. Everything about this, I hated. I shouldn't say I hated everything about the main event, like the match itself. Like the match was okay. It was very slow. It was very I got the bit because John Cena, he doesn't want to give the fans anything. His entrance was just a black screen with John Cena written on the Titantron going down the ramp. John Cena is trying to ruin wrestling. He's not giving us anything. And in this match, he was giving us new moves. Well, I shouldn't say new moves, but it felt like I was watching an 80s, 90s wrestling match. Someone made that comment in the chat last night, and it was just very boring and just very basic moves. Like, he had a very basic, generic WWE 2K creator superstar moveset. I understood the bit, but the match still was slow and boring. And going into this match, believe me, I was already, starting to get thoughts on, what I'm thinking of this heel turn. If I'm starting to think it was a waste because there was no Rock inclusion leading up to WrestleMania, but I'm thinking The Rock's going to be there. Everything's going to, they're going to tell a story in the match. Everything's going to wrap up. Seth Rollins, we'll get to that at one point. There's going to be some interference from other superstars. Like, we're thinking The Rock hasn't been here. Travis Scott hasn't been here. There's only been one or two Rock mentions on this whole buildup, but it'll all lead to something at WrestleMania, and then it'll make sense. Actually, the complete opposite happened. During the match, John Cena's sitting there, Fiend hits. I don't know why Travis Scott got an entire entrance during the main event of WrestleMania. I don't know why they didn't have Travis Scott just come out with John Cena and then do what they did. The fact that Travis Scott got a full-blown entrance, got like a name card on the screen and everything, while there is one of the biggest main events, or what we are hyping up as one of the biggest WrestleMania main events in history, going on in the ring. That was weird. I genuinely was like, I'm confused by this, but I'm assuming this means that he's coming out first, and then The Rock's going to come out and things are going to get going. Like, all right, things are picking up now. Travis Scott comes down to the ring. John Cena's smiling and is like, oh, like on Easter Sunday, the Lord is risen. My Lord and Savior, Travis Scott, has showed up to save me. My knight in shining armor, Travis Scott, has showed up to save me. John Cena's giddy. Like, I've never seen him this happy to see anyone in his life. Raises Travis Scott's hand on the apron and is like, here, wait here, like, don't move. Tries to have Travis hit Cody with his hardcore championship. It's not a no DQ match, and the ref is standing right there, so that was weird. Travis Scott eventually gets in the ring. He gets hit with a crossroads, so he gets involved. He takes a bump, and then John Cena I think he low blows Cody, hits him with the belt. 1, 2, 3. That's the match. I had no words. I'm still kind of at a loss for words. I mean, I have more words now, and they're all negative. I genuinely hated. I'm not mad that John Cena won the 17th championship. That's not the outrage. There's no outrage over John Cena breaking the record for the 17th championship. That Vegas crowd was actually pro Cena last night. They were cheering for John Cena. They honestly, they didn't want Cody Rhodes to win. They were booing Cody Rhodes during the match. It was just the way in which they delivered it that was just such hot garbage. Last year, at the end of WrestleMania 40, I was there. Cody Rhodes dethroned Roman Reigns after a 1,300-long world title reign, one of the greatest reigns of our lifetime, of our generation. Just for him to lose 1 year later to John Cena, who has not won a singles match in 7 years. That's not what I'm upset about. But you lose to someone like that because of a Travis Scott interference, not The Rock, not the guy that you didn't sell your soul to and John Cena, I guess, aligned with, that we have no explanation of and no story around that. Cody Rhodes loses because of a Travis Scott interference. He got distracted by Travis Scott. He got caught up with Travis Scott. He wouldn't hit John Cena with the belt because he didn't want to be the bad guy. I don't even really care about that because Cody Rhodes is a face, and sure. Out of everything that happened last night, Cody Rhodes not hitting John Cena with the belt is the least of my concerns. It's the fact that he lost the WWE Championship after 1 year because of Travis Scott, a guy that isn't a wrestler. He showed up once, and he was a part of one of the craziest heel turns of all time. And even then, I'm like, he shouldn't have been there. I don't know why he was there. In the main event of WrestleMania 41, one of the most hyped up WrestleManias because it's heel John Cena going for the 17th championship. You have your new poster boy, Cody Rhodes, in the main event. And it ends with John Cena and Travis Scott holding up their championships. Travis Scott holding up his fake hardcore championship. That's bullshit. The whole bit, and everyone's just like, that's the point. John Cena's ruining wrestling, and The Rock is a long gamer. Like, it's all a part of long-term booking. No, it's not. I'm on the camp now that The Rock just shows up. They write stuff for him. And there was a person that tweeted this last night. I believe his Twitter account is Humble Wrestling. I want to give his shout out. I don't want to make it sound like I came up with this or whatever. But he put out a tweet basically saying The Rock shows up, they write things for him, not knowing if he's going to follow up on it. And then they have to basically scramble. The whole bad blood thing, that was for nothing. And then the whole throat slit thing, they made up. They just fucking went along with that at the Elimination Chamber with John Cena bringing it down to 2. That's all bullshit. The Rock being a part of one of the biggest heel turns, one of the biggest moments, craziest memorable moments in history, and then not showing up at all is absolutely trash. I think The Rock and Travis Scott turned this WrestleMania into one of the most underwhelming. And this main event isn't the worst main event in history. It is one of the worst main events in history. Not because of the match or anything like that itself, but how the ending was. And I don't care. I do not give a fuck about this John Cena ruining wrestling. This isn't us being upset this is just heel heat. This is just part of the story. We're supposed to be mad at this. No, this is legit. This is stupid heat. This decision was bullshit. Don't insult us. Travis Scott, a musical artist, is coming in. Biggest, grandest stage of them all, main event, and he's going to be the one to dictate who wins. Yeah, I'm all set with that. If we want to switch over to the heel turn, I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely more so leaning towards the side of this heel turn is not a waste, but it doesn't make any sense. John Cena turned heel for what seems like no reason right now. We could have saved the heel turn till WrestleMania. John Cena turning heel last night with all that happening, anything would have been better than how last night went, but saving the heel turn to WrestleMania, I'd imagine would have made it better. Wouldn't have made it worse, I don't think. But now this heel turn, he's going to be on Raw tonight. He's going to explain how he's ruining wrestling and everything, but my patience is running thin. The build, in my opinion, to the match was not good, and I was hoping that the match was going to be good enough where it was okay, it makes up for it. It didn't. It's just been a lackluster heel turn. He's been a good heel, but when you think of John Cena as a heel, the heel turn, I expected them to do a whole lot more than what they have already. John Cena winning, I think, was the right call. I'm okay with John Cena winning again. I have no issue with him beating Cody because now I'm interested to see how the rest of the retirement tour plays out. Is he going to show up? Is he going to actually defend the belt? Is he going to sit at home? I don't know what they're going to do. Overall, the match itself was whatever, but the ending made it one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. Okay, I wanted to start off with that match. We're going to go in order down, the night 1 card and everything like that, so it'll be consistent now. But I had to get that out of my system, guys, and starting off strong. So now we're going to go into another interesting, I wouldn't say controversial decision. I don't think it's controversial that he won it. The way he won it, I think, was controversial. We have Jey Uso defeating Gunther to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. No shocker that Jey Uso won here. I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion that he was going to beat Gunther, especially after the last few weeks with how Gunther took out Jimmy. Jey Uso saying he was going to crash out. Still waiting for that to happen. But this match was, listen, I was not expecting this to be a masterclass technical performance. Gunther is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Jey Uso is one of the best sports entertainers in the world. I didn't expect much from this. I didn't have my expectations set too high. Jey Uso winning, I'm cool. It's kind of like John Cena. I'm cool with Jey Uso winning. I have no issue with him. I'm actually very happy he won. I thought the moment was great. He deserved that spot, that win. I truly believe that. But making Gunther tap out, Come on, bro. And I know people are going to be like, it was a callback. Ilya made him tap out. This is what he does. He can't be in a sleeper hold. He's got to tap. I don't give a fuck. Ilya and Jey Uso are not the same people, okay? Two very different matches, two very different wrestlers. So we should not be comparing those two situations. Jey Uso hits Gunther with the spear, 3 splashes, and then puts him in a sleeper hold. Gunther taps out within 5 seconds. I did not like that ending. The match was okay. It's just how Jey Uso won. I don't like. I don't think Gunther should be looking weak like that. You're already losing to Jey Uso, and no disrespect to Jey Uso, but Gunther is a better technical wrestler than him. So him losing to Jey is already kind of like he's losing to someone a lesser to him, but then you have him tap out. Yeah, I don't like that. Shout out Jey Uso. He's earned the championship. I'm happy he got that big moment, but he shouldn't have tapped out Gunther. That was the wrong way to do it. The New Day defeat the War Raiders to become the new World Tag Team Champions. There are going to be some matches, guys, that admittedly I'm not going to be talking about for too long just because there really isn't too much to talk about. This probably, arguably, was the worst match of the weekend. The match itself wasn't bad. It was a match. And I said this in some predictions videos. I said this on stream. I have no issue with this match being there, but if you're putting this tag team championship match, these tag team titles on the Mania card, you have to put on the other ones. And I still don't understand why they didn't put the triple threat TLC tag team championship match at WrestleMania. That would have been a classic WrestleMania match, but we got this one instead. Wasn't a classic, but I am happy New Day won. I think their heel characters definitely needed it. After that, we have Jade Cargill defeating Naomi, and this was a match that either could have won. I wanted Naomi to win because she's been doing incredible work over the last few months, and I really would have liked to see her get rewarded with a WrestleMania win. At the same time, Jade Cargill is, someone that they're going to be pushing to be a top female star in the division. She was out the last few months, but now that she's back, I'm sure that they are going to keep pushing her and stuff. Even in loss, I think Naomi's going to have a big 2025. I would like to see her win the Money in the Bank briefcase, but regardless, this match was fine. The story was great. I love the story going into it. Both of them had great entrances, great ring gear. Jade Cargill had some cool moves. She caught Naomi at one point. Naomi was jumping off the top rope. Jade caught her, put her into like a jackhammer. That was sick. The ending sequence was really cool. It's not going to be a match that I'm probably going to go back and watch anytime soon or ever. It wasn't anything too memorable. I did want Naomi to win, but I have no issue with Jade winning either. Jacob Fatu defeats LA Knight to become the new United States champion in what was a very underrated match. I thought this match was low-key a banger. There were some big spots here. LA Knight hit a BFT on Jacob Fatu as he was doing a moonsault off the top rope. That was insane. Jacob Fatu looked great. LA Knight honestly looked really good in defeat as well, but the right man won. Jacob Fatu, the new United States champion. I could talk about this guy for forever. He is so damn talented. I am so happy that he won, and I can't wait to see what he does with this championship. The Rocket has been strapped to his back. There's no turning back now. This is the first of many championships for Jacob Fatu. I hope he has a dominant reign. Let him cook. This will be a United States Championship reign that will be very memorable, and we'll be talking about it for a while. El Grande Americano defeats Rey Fenix, who stepped in for Rey Mysterio, who got hurt the night before on SmackDown. Crazy that Rey Fenix got a WrestleMania match weeks after debuting. It was kind of shorter. I think it was only like 7 minutes. This match wasn't really meant to tear the roof off the place or get people to be like, oh, that was the match of the weekend. Rey Fenix looked good. El Grande looked good. Nothing really to talk about, though. Second to last match, the co-main event of night one, we have Tiffany Stratton defeating Charlotte Flair to retain the WWE Women's Championship. I was shocked that Tiffany Stratton won. I had Charlotte winning this just because I figured Charlotte Flair is back. She wins the Rumble, gets this match. I just thought it was a shoo-in that she was going to win. But Tiffany Stratton won in what was a interesting match. It was very hard-hitting. You can say stiff. There are times where it seemed like there was maybe some sandbagging going on. Tiffany Stratton winning was the right choice. I'm happy Tiffany Stratton's continuing this reign. Charlotte Flair, I think, will get the belt at some point. I can see them maybe having a rematch at the next pay-per-view, at Backlash or whatever, and Charlotte winning it there. But Tiffany Stratton winning at WrestleMania is massive. Charlotte, obviously, is Charlotte. She doesn't need a WrestleMania win to solidify anything. So having Tiffany get that big win over Charlotte, I think was great. Right decision. Even if she loses the belt in a few weeks, her retaining on the biggest stage does wonders for her career. The main event of night one. This was the best main event. Out of night one, night two, this was the best main event by far. Not even close. Seth Rollins fucking defeated Roman Reigns and CM Punk after Paul Heyman turns on not only CM Punk, but Roman Reigns to side with Seth Rollins, Roman and CM Punk's biggest rival, their most hated enemy. This match fucking rocked. Now, you want to talk about a match I'm going to go back and watch. Out of all these matches on the card, I hate to say it, but the only two matches I might go back and watch are Jacob Fatu winning the belt and this one. This match was so well paced. Every guy looked great. Everyone got their spots, and there were big spots after big spots. They were out in the crowd to start. Roman Reigns was jumping over barricades. Roman Reigns and Seth almost had a little Shield reunion. Seth was trying to convince Roman to team up on CM Punk, and Roman's acting skills were in full force this match. What I kept thinking of was, because WWE did interviews leading up to WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns did an interview, and he said that he really only has a few years left in WWE before he takes on a lesser form of entertainment, probably Hollywood. He doesn't have much time left in WWE. And obviously with the whole Bloodline story, like a lot of it has been storytelling and acting and everything, and great acting. But there are some moments in this match where I'm watching Roman and I'm just like, all right, he's putting on like a little audition here. Like he's showing off his emotions, showing what he can do in like a setting like this where an emotional story is being told. I don't know if I'm the only one that thought that or noticed it, but I thought that was a funny little connection I made. Anyways, Roman Reigns is like so torn on what he wants to do. We think he's going to help Seth. Turns on Seth, puts them both through the tables. They all were hitting their finishers. There was one sequence where it was CM Punk hit Seth with the GTS, then Roman speared Punk, and then Seth stomped Roman. I think that's what the sequence was. I don't know if that's what the sequence was that made all men go down. At one point, all men are down. Paul Heyman gets a chair. Paul Heyman, who spent a lot of time in the tanning bed the last few days, he looks at Roman, shakes his head, slides the chair to Punk. Now CM Punk's the chair in his hand. It's about to hit Roman Reigns with it, and Paul Heyman low blows CM Punk, and Paul Heyman's like, you made me do this. You made me do this. He was so upset. And then Roman Reigns, he has that look. His teeth were really shining. And then when he was smiling here, he was ecstatic. But I'm watching this and I'm like, Roman, I would not get too excited. So now Seth Rollins is still in the background. Roman Reigns has the chair now. He's beating down CM Punk with it. He is beating him down, hitting him over and over and over again. And then Seth Rollins is starting to lean up against the ropes. And Paul Heyman's like, look, my tribal chief, it is perfect. He's right there. I don't know the exact words, but he was like, Roman, you have the chair. Seth's back is to you. Rewrite history. Hit him in the back like he hit you in the back. Roman Reigns, as he is about to hit Seth, as Seth is getting up, Paul Heyman low blows Roman and puts a little extra touch on it too. He moved his arm around. And one thing I did notice, it looked like he enjoyed low blowing Roman a lot more than Punk. With Punk, it looked like it was I'm sorry I have to do this type of thing. And Roman, it looked like he wanted to. So that's something we have to keep an eye on. But Paul Heyman hands Seth Rollins the chair. And at this point, I will say, I did predict this. I did predict a variation of this. I said Paul Heyman was going to turn on CM Punk and Roman. I said in the case of he's not going to exactly align with Seth, but he's going to help Seth because he's sick of Roman and Punk. Well, he's sick of Roman and Punk, and he aligned with Seth Rollins. I'm like, I don't know if this means they're aligned. Maybe he's just like, helping him win the match. And then Paul Heyman was like sitting in the corner watching everything. He raised his hand. He even acknowledged Seth Rollins. I can't wait for this tandem. I can't wait for this duo. I'm excited to see what Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins do together because I think this is an amazing pairing. You can put Paul Heyman with most people and it's going to be amazing, But when you put Paul Heyman with one of the best wrestlers in the world who's actually active and shows up on a weekly basis as an active superstar, this could be money. But more than that, I'm happy for Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins, I think, has always been a guy that has never been pushed as or has been featured as the top guy. He's always been second fiddle to someone, whether it be Roman Reigns or John Cena or Brock Lesnar or whoever, or Cody Rhodes. Like, Seth Rollins, I feel like, has always been presented as a number 2. He's done nothing but number 1 guy stuff. He's around every single week. He sacrifices his body. He had the World Heavyweight Championship reign last year, which is incredible. And the tail end of it, he had no functional knees. Like, the guy was battling through injuries. The guy does it for the love of the game, for the love of the business, and he's never been rewarded as that guy. I am praying that we are entering the era of Seth Rollins, because he deserves his own era. Crazy that he pinned Roman too. I had Seth Rollins winning, but I thought he would pin CM Punk, because CM Punk pinned him at Raw and they have their thing going. Him pinning Roman makes it feel even bigger. This main event rocked. I love the ending. It was so shocking. Even though I somewhat predicted Paul Heyman doing that, still watching it happen, like, my jaw was dropped. Like, it was so well done. Everything about it was great. And I'm very, very excited to see Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman as a duo moving forward. We are on to night 2, and I'm actually going to move this around a little bit. I'm going to save the women's triple threat match till the end here, so we can kind of, build up to it. We have the Sin City Street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre wins. Honestly, exceeded my expectations. I had low expectations going into this match, but the right man won. There were some cool spots. There were a bunch of table spots. Damian Priest went through 2 tables. Drew McIntyre went through a table. I don't want to harp on it too much, because it did exceed my expectations, and probably was one of the most entertaining matches, at least on the night 2 card. I am happy Drew McIntyre won, but I am ecstatic that Dominic Mysterio won the Intercontinental Championship in a fatal 4-way match against Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta. Penta shows up dressed up as a Green Power Ranger. I don't think that's what it was supposed to be like in tribute of, but he looked like a Green Power Ranger. This match was fun. I'm a sucker for multi-man matches. Something like this was right up my alley. This was actually the match I was looking forward to the most. The ending, everything was exactly how I wanted it to go, genuinely. Dom was on the top rope. Finn knocks him over, so Dom is sitting there like he fell on his balls. Finn Balor hits a coup de grace on Braun Breaker. As he's going for the pin, Dominic hits them both with a splash, pins Finn Balor 1, 2, 3, wins the IC belt. So not only does he win the belt, but he pins his Judgment Day partner, who I'm assuming isn't going to be in Judgment Day for much longer. Dominic Mysterio got a huge reaction from the crowd. They were so happy for him. He was getting a huge reaction during the match. When he won up the ramp and then ran back down to celebrate some more, which was a very cool moment. That seemed like it was very genuine and not scripted. Dominic Mysterio as the Intercontinental Champion, I think, can be really good if done right. Braun Breaker had a great run as the champ. He was great in the IC Championship scene. Let's move him up to the World Championship scene. Let's have him go up against some main eventers, some big guys, and start presenting him as a World Heavyweight Champion contender. Randy Orton had an open challenge, and we had no idea who was going to show up. There was a lot of different names being thrown around. Rusev. I was throwing around Sami Zayn. It ended up being Joe fucking Hendry. The TNA World Champion had a match at WrestleMania against WWE legend Randy Orton. Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania match against Joe Hendry. Such a cool moment. Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears. I've been believing in Joe Hendry for years now, and seeing him get that moment was honestly so fucking cool. Me and my friend Matt have been like fanboying over Joe Hendry, over his character work, and we would always send TikToks and videos of him to each other and being like, this guy's fucking awesome. This guy's gonna be like the future. I want WWE to sign him. It was a short match. The match wasn't anything memorable, really. The memorable part was Joe Hendry showing up. This could have been one of the best endings to a match I can remember. Is Joe Hendry did his signature pose where he turns around, he's looking into the crowd, RKO out of nowhere. The camera work was great, and it was a great, like, genuine out of nowhere RKO, because Joe Hendry literally didn't take his eyes off. Like, he was staring off into the distance. Like, it was a very well executed RKO. Match ends. He raises Joe Hendry's hand, RKOs him again. Classic Viper. Can never trust Randy Orton, but the match was a match. It was the moment. That was great. These next 2 matches, guys, admittedly, I'm not going to talk about for too long, because these 2 were two of my least favorite matches, honestly. Logan Paul defeats AJ Styles, boneheaded decision. One of Logan Paul's friends got involved. I don't even remember what the guy's name was. Frank, Joey. I don't know what the guy's name was. Tried to hand him brass knuckles because that's what Logan Paul does. It was so stupid. Karrion Kross shows up, takes the brass knuckles. He's telling AJ to use the brass knuckles on Logan Paul. He wants AJ to beat Logan. AJ gets back in the ring. Logan Paul hits him with a finisher and wins. In the history books, we read Logan Paul defeated AJ Styles, and that makes me sick to my stomach. AJ Styles is one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He's 4-5 at WrestleMania, doesn't have a great track record, and we have him lose to Logan Paul. And I'm a Logan Paul in-ring wrestling defender. I think he's a good in-ring performer. It didn't seem like these two had great chemistry, and the wrong person won. So I hated this match. The Women's Tag Team Championship match. Lyra Valkyria and a returning Becky Lynch defeats Liv Morgan and Raquel to become the new champions. It was supposed to be Lyra and Bayley, and then Bayley got taken out backstage on night 1 and got replaced by Becky. I don't understand why they would do that to Bayley. Triple H at the press conference, like, don't worry about her. She's a pro. She'll be all set. I don't know. You can just say that, but like, why would you have Bayley, who is one of the biggest names on the roster? Like, she's a 4-horsewoman. She's a legend. She's a living legend. Won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania last year in the co-main event. On the verge of missing WrestleMania. You would put her in a match that I'm already like against. Like, Lyra and Bayley just getting put together like this to face Liv and Raquel. I didn't like that. I would have liked a multiple team match or an actual established tag team facing them. And also I would have liked to see Lyra just defend the IC belt against Bayley and like Roxanne or whatever. But instead of all that, Lyra needed a new partner. Becky Lynch returned, and they won. I don't think the match was anything special. It wasn't bad. It wasn't special. The man's back in business, I guess. Wasn't a fan of this. Was not a fan of Liv and Raquel losing. Was not a fan of Becky Lynch replacing Bayley. Was not a fan of Bayley getting added, then removed from this situation. I thought that was not a fan of that at all. In the last match we have here, guys, this was the opener to night 1, but I wanted to save it for the end because genuinely, this could go down as the greatest WrestleMania opener in history, at least in my opinion, at least in like what I've seen live. Io Sky defeats Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley to retain the Women's World Championship match, and I couldn't have been happier to have predicted wrong. I had Bianca Belair winning. I am so happy I was wrong. Io Sky deserved to win that. Michael Cole said it after she won. Afterthought no more. Io Sky was an afterthought in this entire build. Even though she walked in as the world champion, this feud was around Rhea and Bianca. Like, that's what the story was being built around. Rhea was the world champ originally. Bianca won Elimination Chamber. Io beat Rhea for the world championship. Like, we all figured this was going to turn into a triple threat, but the way we got here was not what anyone expected. Even with all that, Io Sky was, presented as the person that's probably the least likely to win. But man, Io Sky, talk about a fucking legendary performance. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are made stars. They can eat losses and they'll be fine. As far as like WWE popularity and like where it seems like they are in the division, Rhea and Bianca are the top people. Io was slightly below them. But after that win last night, I think that elevates Io Sky to a untouchable level on a for sure, no doubt about it, one of the best, if not the best female superstar on the roster, in the ring, character-wise, everything. The fans were so behind her. The fans love Io Sky. I didn't really even get into like the match itself. The match was unfucking believable. All 3 women were hitting crazy ass spots. Io Sky was fucking flying around. Io Sky is the best seller in WWE, man or woman. Every time she gets fucking hit in the head or just takes a hard hit, she's dead. Like, she's literally dead. And we knew that these women had chemistry. Like, Rhea and Io, we knew had chemistry. Rhea and Bianca, we knew had chemistry. All 3 together, they created magic. This was one of the most memorable, one of the best opening matches in WrestleMania history. I tweeted out after this match, I was like, good luck to anyone following this matchup because it is going to be nearly impossible to top how good that was. And no one did top that. That may have been the match of the weekend. I think the 3 best matches this weekend were the 2 triple threat matches, Seth Rollins, Roman Punk, and then Io, Bianca, Rhea. I think those 2 matches are shoo-ins. And then I honestly might say Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight because I really did enjoy that match, or maybe the IC Championship match because of Dom. Out of 10, I'm probably going to give this WrestleMania a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. There were some matches that were underwhelming, some results that were underwhelming. In the main event of everything, like Travis Scott being involved in the main event and basically helping John Cena win, I'm all set with that. The Rock and Travis Scott ruined WrestleMania, I think. The Rock deciding when to show up whenever he pleases, and not being involved in this build-up, being a part of what turned out to be one of the worst WrestleMania events in history. And then Travis Scott being involved, I fucking hate him being involved in WWE and being involved in the biggest heel turn in history, one of the biggest heel turns, and then having his hands involved in one of the biggest main events and ruining it, in my opinion. The Rock and Travis Scott ruined WrestleMania 41. This could have been such a more memorable and could have gone down as one of the better WrestleManias ever. Because of the lack of builds, how lackluster some matches and stories were, we're sitting at a 6.5 out of 10. I hate that it's so low. I was very hyped up for this Mania, but that's where we are now. So again, let me know in the comments what your rating is, what your final thoughts on the matches are, the results, whatever. Your predictions for Raw after WrestleMania tonight, what you think we're going to be doing moving forward with some stories and some characters. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I hope Travis Scott doesn't ruin your Mondays too much. I'm trying not to let him ruin my Monday, ruin my week. It's 10 o'clock right now. I'm still pissed for sure about everything, but we're hopefully by Raw tonight we'll get answers, and then maybe WWE can right their wrongs, but we'll see what happens. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.